So as of my recording this video, we are just over 2 weeks away from the Battle for Brooklyn DLC launching, which is pretty damn insane to say. And as promised, I want to continue the series at the channel where I highlight a handful of builds that in my opinion are must-haves for every single player out there. Now, as you've heard me mention over the last few weeks, between now and the DLC launching, which does take place on May 27th, I will continue the series at the channel. I'll be talking about different things you want to farm for and just things you want to make sure you get done before we get this new content. Now, as always, we're going to jump right into the build breakdown, and if you happen to enjoy this, do me a favor and hit that like button. It truly helps the channel out, and if you want to stay up to speed on all things Division, feel free to hit that subscribe or join button as well. Now, starting with the specialization, I am using Gunner, and the main reason for that is because that does give me access to the Banshee Pulse, which I love to use with this build. You also get some extra armor on kill, you get a reload speed increase, you get a rate of fire increase as well, and always remember, regardless of the specialization you choose, make sure to have the proper weapons activated in your weapon skill tree. That way you're getting a 15% weapon damage bonus regardless of which one you're using. Please do not forget that, my fellow agents, otherwise you're just missing out on weapon damage. Now, my primary for this build is the Pestilence. This is one of the best weapons in the game. You've heard me mention it previously. And like a lot of you out there, I find myself using the same weapon non-stop, but when I actually branch out and try different things, absolutely love it. Now, the reason this is so effective is because of its talent Plague of the Outcast, where hits apply a debuff dealing 100% weapon damage over 10 seconds. This stacks up to 50 times. Whenever an enemy dies with that debuff, 100% of the stacks are transferred to a nearby enemy within 25 meters. Now, for those of you out there who do not have this weapon, thankfully it is in the general loot pool. I recommend hitting up Countdown or the Summit, set your targeted loot to LMG, and you can farm anywhere the LMG is the targeted loot. Obviously, I wish you nothing but the best of luck. Now, moving on to the gear itself, you can see we are running 3 Lengmo, 1 Petrov, 1 Overlord, and the Coyote's Mask, which is what we're starting with. Now, once again, this is one of those must-have exotics in the game, and the reason for that is because of its talent pack instincts, where you and all your allies are going to gain a crit hit chance and or crit hit damage bonus based on the distance of the last enemy you hit. And remember, if you're rolling in a group like Countdown and multiple people are wearing this, you can have all 3 buffs active at the same time. Absolutely lights out. Now, moving on to the body armor, it's the first of 3 pieces of Lengmo. We're running 3 so we get all of the brain set bonuses. 2 pieces 20% explosive resistance, 3 pieces 20% skill health, but the main reason we're running it is for that 30% LMG damage bonus, and as you can see, I'm using the talent Obliterate, where critical hits increase total weapon damage by 1% for 10 seconds, stacking up to 20 times. Next, we have the holster, which is the second piece of Lengmo, and I want to point out the fact that this is not fully maximized as yet, because like a lot of you out there, I run out of resources pretty damn quick, so I have to pick and choose kind of what I level up, you know what I mean? I did with the body armor, I'm going to be doing that with the holster soon. Next, we have the knee pads. They are the 1 piece of Overlord. We're running Fox's Prayer because that has the middle attribute, 8% damage to targets out of cover. And always remember, this is just a template. You want to take your time and make a build your own. For instance, you may not want 1 million armor like I'm sitting at. You may want more, you may want less. I recommend trying out different variations, kick the tires, see which one works for you. Now, moving on to the gloves, they are the 1 piece of Petrov. We're running Contractors for that middle attribute, 8% damage to armor. And last but not least, my fellow agents, we have the Backbone Backpack. That is the 3rd and final piece of Lengmo. Now, I'm still trying to get that double crit Backbone because you have to reroll the core attribute to armor or weapon damage, one of the two. And this does have the talent Perfectly Unstoppable Force. And as I mentioned previously, like the holster, this is not fully maximized. Now, typically, I'm not going to really spec into anything until it's the exact version I'm looking for, but to get a double crit Backbone Backpack has taken me a lifetime, so to get this one with weapon handling and crit hit damage, chances are I will optimize this thing because it's pretty damn close to being perfect. As far as my skills are concerned, for this version of the build, I'm running with the Assault Drone because it's a great distraction to NPC and puts out damage as well as the Banshee Pulse. And when we take a look at the numbers, you can see I'm sitting at 44% crit hit chance. Remember, the max is 60 and 112.1 crit hit damage. Those numbers are going to be dependent on not only the gear you have equipped, but having a Shade Watch of level 1000. And if I happen to be using this build with modifiers, you will see here in a second, my active modifier is going to be Overdrive. And as far as the passive ones are concerned, we have Microwave Coils, Aggressive Drone, and Critical Recovery. Hope this video helped you out, my friends. And as always, questions, comments, or feedback, please let me know and I will do my best to get back to you as quick as I can. Most of you know by now that one of my favorite aspects about putting these build videos together is the family that we have here at the channel. So if you happen to have any tips or tricks you want to pass along to new and returning players, feel free to leave them in the comments section, as the main goal is to help out as many people as we can. On that note, I'm going to leave you with some gameplay footage and commentary. As always, I want to take a moment and thank you all for your incredible continued support. Please let me know of any other questions you have I did not address. Thank you once again for the privilege of your time. And as I mention at the end of every one of these, take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks again, everyone. So I know in the video I mentioned the fact that I was going to show you gameplay footage with and without the modifiers, but honestly, there's no point using the modifiers at this point. I mean, not that there's no point, but I'm not going to show you a build with modifiers right now because everything's going to change in the next few weeks, so I figure I'll show you this build without anything active, so that way you know at least what the baseline is. Now, as I leave you with the gameplay footage, I want to once again remind you, always remember this is just a template. And the reason I keep saying that is because for me, look, I know there are stronger Pestilence builds than the one I'm showing you. That's a fact. This is not the hardest hitting build, but for me, this works for my gameplay. And as I get used to running with a build like this seems to check off all the boxes I'm looking for. Anyway, hope you found this video helpful and let me know of any other questions you may have. Now, one thing I'd like to say as I wrap up is that I did post a video yesterday talking about everything going on in the game in regard to the fact that you could buy these, season extension caches, things like that. If you missed that video, you will find a link to it in the video description. So do me a favor, check that video out. Let me know what you think in the comment section. One thing I will always do here, this will never change, is I'll always give you a fair and balanced assessment of what's going on in the game, both the good and the bad. That way you can, make your own determination on whether you agree with something or not. And as always, please remember, we do not need to agree on everything. I want to have discussions here, but I want to make sure people are respectful towards one another. No toxic behavior. I will never tolerate the bashing of an individual, a dev, a creator. It doesn't matter who it is. Just don't bring that into my house. It is not welcome whatsoever. Basically, don't be an asshole. We'll all get along just fine. All right, my friends, that's it. Got to get to work. Thank you once again for everything, and I will see you in the next one.
Reinforcements incoming. Detecting additional hostile contacts.
Should be there soon. Come on, let's get started.
Supply room access unlocked.